Hi guys, so I'm going to show you today a really easy recipe for banana cake, and I'm just going to use up some old bananas, so that's the reason I'm making the cake. So I'm just going to talk you through the ingredients really quickly. I have 4 medium ripe bananas here, and I just wanted to show you how ripe they are. I mean, you can literally use a spatula and it's done. They're all mush. So they need to be really ripe. Make sure that they've got plenty of brown on them. So that's 4 medium bananas. I've got 2 lemons that I'm going to use for zesting. I've got 50 grams of sultanas in here. These are optional, and they're actually covered with about 2 decent tablespoons of Malibu rum. The reason I'm using Malibu is because I don't have any regular, and to make them soak in a little bit quicker, just pop them in the microwave for 30 seconds and they'll absorb it a lot quicker. I've got 2 free-range room temperature eggs. I've got 225 grams of brown sugar. This is soft brown sugar, and it's the light brown sugar. I've got 100 grams of margarine, soft. I've got some salt. And in here I've got 300 grams of self-raising flour. That's already been sifted. And then just because I need to use these up, I've also got some almonds here. There's just maybe 2 tablespoons and they're flaked almonds. So the first thing we're going to do is our completely normal thing, which is mix together our butter and our sugar until it's light and fluffy. So in there is my 100 grams of margarine. If you've used butter, make sure that you've softened it first. And this is soft light brown sugar, 225 grams. If you're not using brown sugar, use about 175 grams of white sugar. The next thing we're going to do is add our zest. I've already washed and dried these lemons. You only want the yellow part. So you can see my lemon zest is in there now. What I'm also going to add is 1 of my 2 eggs, if I can. And we're going to mix that. I'm just going to scrape down the paddle, and we're going to add a little bit of our flour and the other egg. Right, now to my flour I'm just adding, that is a couple of shakes of salt. Give that a little bit of a mix, and then we're going to add this into here. Right, we're just going to mix this on slow, and we're only going to mix it for just a second. Okay, so that was more than a second, I admit, but basically we don't want to overmix, because now we're going to add in our bananas. Scrape down the edges. At this point you could just take it out and do it by hands. That's of course an option. And if you haven't preheated your oven, which I already have, you need to preheat it for a good 10 minutes or so at 180. That's 180 fan. But if your oven runs a bit hot, then turn it down by a few degrees, because you don't want this to cook on the outside before it cooks on the inside. Again, just a very short mix. And finally we're going to add our rum and our sultanas. Right. So we're going to do the last bit by hand now. Okay, so this is my loaf tin. It's quite a big loaf tin. I think it's a £2 tin. But basically it's about 8-9 inches long. Now, I have my almonds, which I'm going to be using today, but they're completely optional. You can use them two ways. You can either put them on the top for decoration, or you can put them in. So I think I'm just going to add them in, because I'm feeling a little lazy. And we're just going to stir that around. Make sure that there's no flour or anything. And we're good to go. So you can pour this in or you can spoon this in. So a warning about this cake. Firstly, it only works with really ripe bananas. So don't be tempted to try and use yellow or green bananas, because it's not going to work. Texture's not right, there's not enough sugar in them, they won't be sweet enough, and it won't taste like banana, so I wouldn't even bother. You need to wait a few days for them, definitely. And the second thing is, this cake does take quite a while to cook, because obviously it's in a loaf tin. So you need to check it at an hour. If your oven runs a bit hot, then you should cover it with foil to avoid it browning too quickly. And then we're just going to level this out a little bit. Okay, perfect. So this is now ready to go into the oven. You need to check it at an hour. It could take an hour and a half though. I'll show you mine when it's done. Okay, so I've taken it out of the oven now, and it's been about an hour and 10, an hour and 15, and I've just poked it with these little holes with a cocktail stick, and that's actually how you check as well to see that it's cooked. So if it comes out and there's anything stuck to it, it's not cooked completely, just pop it back in. Okay, so we've got two things. We've got, this is water. This is 2 tablespoons of water with 1 tablespoon of sugar dissolved into it. This is completely optional, don't have to do it. You could use lemon juice or anything like that. So we're just going to sprinkle the top with sugar. And then, while it's still warm, we're just going to pop the syrup over. I've called it a syrup and it's not a syrup, to be honest. And that is due to the fact that I did this in the microwave rather than doing it over the stove and making it so that it's actually thick. To be honest, I don't really find that it needs it. A bit more sugar over the top. And it's done. Thank you very much for watching. I'm going to post some pictures on here as well of what it looks like when it's out of the tin. Make sure that you leave it to cool before you take it out of the tin. I can't stress that enough. And also just a note on the browning. If you find that it's browning too quickly, either cover it in foil or turn the temperature down. That's really important because you don't want it to burn. Thank you again. Have a great day.